News, the headlines. The bumper cars attraction at the fair is closed over health and safety concerns, with 10 teenagers receiving treatment at hospital. The GSD is seeking clarity over whether El Martillo-owned companies have received loans funded through the savings bank. Online gambling business Quinnbet Gibraltar Limited is ordered to pay over £600,000 to the UK Gambling Commission. Hotel and self-catering apartments on the Rock say they are nearly sold out ahead of next year's solar eclipse. And the Art Gibraltar competition opens at the Fine Arts Gallery. Good evening. The bumper cars attraction at the fair has been temporarily closed after 10 teenagers were referred to the hospital for overnight treatment. The Ministry of Culture says this follows an incident involving small fragments that have become embedded in their eyes. It says the health and safety of the public remains their priority, and a full inspection of the attraction will be carried out tomorrow morning. The bumper cars will only reopen once the necessary inspection has been completed and the attraction is deemed safe to operate. Anyone who has used the cars and is experiencing red or teary eyes is advised to go to A&E for assessment. Failure to seek medical attention could result in further damage to the eye, particularly to the cornea. If anyone has any questions, they can call the Cultural Services CEO on 5800 9031. And we're going to go live now to the fair with Stefan Borge, who is with the CEO, Seamus Byrne. Stefan.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, as you can see, the bumper cars are behind us here. They've been closed for the night due to the story that we've just been reporting on there as our top story. We're joined now by Chief Culture Officer Seamus Byrne. Good evening, Seamus.
Good evening.
What do we know so far?
Well, at the moment, what we know is that we received reports from the medical director and the health authority, and of course public health, confirming that there have been various youngsters who have reported to A&E with several issues that have affected them here at the bumper cars. And of course the decision is taken based on the recommendations to close the attraction just for tonight, and hopefully it will open up very, very soon.
So eye injuries due to fragments which would have gone in their eyes. Do we know what kind of fragments they are and how that would have happened?
I believe it's some metal fragments that have gone into their eyes. But of course, what happens with the attraction is that when the car is speeding and they crash together, apparently the attraction itself from the mesh releases some sparks, and that is what may have caused the injuries. But yes, we need to base ourselves on the recommendation. Health and safety is paramount, as we always say in all our interviews. That is a priority for us as organisers, and therefore we follow that recommendation, and the attraction will be closed for tonight.
So the news coming in is that between 9 and 10 teenagers have reported to accident and emergency in the last 24 to 48 hours. Do we know how exactly they're doing?
I hope they're doing really, really well. I just received the report this afternoon at 5:30, so the priority was to ensure that the attraction was closed and to ensure that tomorrow, early in the morning, we have all the inspectors down on site to ensure that we can reopen the attraction as soon as possible.
I know before the fair, obviously, you and your team do a great job in terms of due diligence and everything. Tell us about some of the due diligence that went into this ride in particular.
Well, the due diligence starts way back in March, when we received the certificates from the Colegio de Huelva of Ingenieros, the engineering university in Huelva. And then from there, what we do is that our four inspectors, structural, electrical, mechanical and general health and safety, come to the site nearly every day whilst they're setting up. And then from there, on the actual day prior to the opening of the fair, all four engineers, together with an engineer from the Colegio de Huelva, come and do the final inspections. We pass the inspection with flying colors, but look, these things happen. I don't have any reports from Spain that it has happened prior to today's incident, but of course we take everything to British standards, and health and safety is a priority. it's passed inspections. Today is closed down, and tomorrow everybody will be here as well, supported by our colleagues in public health and the GHA to ensure that we can reopen as soon as possible.
And any recommendations to anyone who may be watching or may have been in the bumper rides, the bumper cars over the course of the fair so far that may be experiencing some?
Anybody who has red eyes or have teary eyes, recommendation is to go to A&E and to get checked out. But hopefully everyone is okay and we can reopen the attraction as soon as possible, hopefully tomorrow. Like I said, inspections are happening tomorrow, early in the morning, so we will be, as soon as we have the green light from the inspectors, we will hopefully open the attraction as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Seamus Byrne, Chief Culture Officer, wishing our best, of course, to the 9 or 10 teenagers who have suffered eye injuries as a result of the bumper cars in the last 24 to 48 hours. Thank you, Michael. Back to you.
Thank you, Stefan. Moving on to other news, the GSD is calling for clarification over whether companies within the El Martillo Group have received loans ultimately funded through the Gibraltar Savings Bank. The party says £114 million had been provided by the Savings Bank through Gibraltar National Mint Limited to Community Credit Union Limited, CCU, by the end of March. It says Companies House records show charges in favour of CCU against several El Martillo companies. The GSC says the public is entitled to know whether any of the £114 million was ultimately loaned to the group, and if so, how much. Well, Cristina Cortes asked Shadow Minister for Public Finance Roy Clinton about the basis for the GSD's queries.
Well, pretty much on answers we've had in Parliament in the last couple of sessions, where we know that about £114 million has passed through from the Savings Bank indirectly through their subsidiaries to Community Credit Union. And we know from searches of Companies House that there are charges registered against companies in the Martillo Group. All we're asking is basically how much has actually been lent to that group. And Bolsonaro said in Parliament, Sergio Bolsonaro said in Parliament that he approves a lot of the funding decisions, but he won't share that information with us.
And you're calling on either Community Credit Union Limited or El Martillo Group to make a voluntary disclosure of loan amounts, rates and terms. Isn't this a commercial transaction that those companies could choose to keep private?
Yes, of course, they can keep private these matters if they wish to. But given that there is a real public interest in these transactions, I mean, it would be in their interest to voluntarily disclose. We know that Sergio Bolsonaro has been involved in making the decisions, therefore a minister of the Crown has been making these decisions, and the money is coming down from Savings Bank. Now, what the people on the streets want to know is basically how much. That's it, it's really quite simple.
The government has said no government-owned, affiliated or controlled company has lent any money to El Martillo Limited or any affiliated company. As you mentioned, it's previously said requests for funding by a local business can be passed to Minister Bolsonaro and then passed to the credit union to assess its feasibility. So are you then disputing whether CCU can be classed as government-controlled or affiliated?
Well, technically and legally, Community Credit Union or CCU is not owned legally by the government, but it is obtaining funding from the Savings Bank via a government minister. So you have a combination of a private sector entity and the government through the Savings Bank, who is facilitating funding to Community Credit Union, who are the ones making the loans. So when the government says no government entity or thing, of course, because they are not the ones making the loans, it's Community Credit Union making the loans using money which has come from the Savings Bank. And I say money, as far as we know, of 114 million, we don't know how much has gone to that group. And again, we don't know if CCU has other sources of funding. So, but we're only looking at the public sector element of this transaction, and that is how much money from the Savings Bank is going to fund these private sector loans.
And are you concerned over money from the Savings Bank going to fund these private sector loans?
Well, this is an entirely new sort of activity. And Sergio Bolsonaro in Parliament said it wasn't even his idea to begin with. This is not part of his national economic plan. This was a group of businessmen that went to see him and said, you know, this is an idea, would you consider it? So it's something that requires careful management, because when you're lending to private sector companies, and certainly in the case we've seen, to buy other companies, I mean, the the lending transactions are quite complicated and complex, and you need to know exactly what you're doing. Yeah?
Is your concern that this ultimately taxpayer money?
Well, look, at the end of the day, the savings bank is guaranteed 100% by the consolidated fund, who is obviously the taxpayer. So, I'm not wishing anything to go wrong. On the contrary, I want it to go exactly right, which is why I'm asking questions about how all this operates. Because at the end of the day, there is a responsibility, not just for the taxpayer, but obviously to the savings bank, to make sure the way things are happening is happening as it should, and that everything is in place as it should be. I mean, I was horrified to find out that, I asked twice in Parliament whether there was a charge registered against CCU by the Gibraltar National Mint, and I was told that there was, only to find that there wasn't, but only seeing it registered in the last month. And this is meant to be covering 114 million of lendings to Community Credit Union. I mean, these are the basics. So my concern is if we can't get the basics right on that, is there anything else I need to know about? And how is this working, and who's exercising overall control over these arrangements? Because it's very important that everything is in place as it should be. I have no problem whatsoever with the Malteser Group and their operations and what they're doing, and I wish them well, because look, at the end of the day, this is about making sure the businesses in Gibraltar thrive, and anything that supports that, that's good. But how the government is doing this, it just begs questions, because if they genuinely, seriously thought there was an issue about supporting businesses, all they had to do was be transparent. Say, look, we're announcing a 100 million fund. You can make applications on this website. It'll be considered by this committee, and then everybody will have access to these funds. But the way it's been done in this piecemeal, all I can say is behind closed doors fashion, it just begs questions.
An online gambling business is to pay more than £600,000 after an investigation revealed anti-money laundering and social responsibility failures. Quinnbet Gibraltar Limited, which runs Quinnbet.com, will make a payment of £609,104 as part of a regulatory settlement with the UK Gambling Commission. The company lists its head office at Cannon Lane in Gibraltar.
The Gambling Commission found ineffective controls by Quinnbet meant signs of potential gambling harm, including high deposits and increasing stakes, were not always flagged for manual review. In one example, a customer placed around 4,800 bets in one day and 7,000 the next. Another customer's stakes escalated to more than £215,000 in a single day, with multiple bets of over £5,000. Anti-money laundering failures included allowing customers to deposit significant sums without their source of funds being established. In one case, a customer whose payslip showed monthly earnings of around £2,000 was able to deposit and lose £9,000 in 4 days. The £609,104 payment will go to the UK government's consolidated fund. Quinnbet will also contribute towards the Commission's investigation costs. Director of Enforcement John Pearce said Quinnbet had taken immediate action to make significant improvements to its systems and controls. He warned other operators to learn from this case and avoid making the same mistakes. Quinnbet is currently advertising for a safer gambling agent in Gibraltar, a role it says will help strengthen its responsible gambling initiatives and ensure regulatory compliance.
Hotel and self-catering apartments on the Rock say they are nearly all sold out as visitors secure accommodation ahead of the next year's solar eclipse. Gibraltar is fast becoming one of the leading destinations, with its prime location offering over 4 minutes of complete totality.
With Gibraltar directly inside the shadow belt for the 2027 solar eclipse, demand for hotels and self-catering apartments from as far as from the US and Australia has been exceptionally high. This demand saw some hotels start preparing for next year's eclipse from as far back as 2024, opening extensive waiting lists and trying to balance the demand with fair pricing.
Obviously, this event is a particular or an exceptional event. We knew about it for quite some time. I think probably the peak of the demand, we have seen it in April or May this year. There's been a lot of inquiries and a lot of booking that have been coming through the various platforms for those 3 particular dates. 31st of July, 1st and 2nd of August next year.
I was really surprised that there was so many questions and people inquiring. So I started collating a little directory of people that I would eventually reach out to once I was ready that I was going to be offering my accommodation for the following year. And then we slowly messaged all those potential customers at the time and to turn them into customers now. They'll be, so we're fully booked for next 2027, a year in advance. Yeah, already. I could have held back a little bit because the demand's been great. But I just want to give the first people that have been right on the finger on the pulse the opportunity to stay at a reasonable price with us.
Gibraltar is in a prime location for an eclipse hat-trick, prompting an extraordinary spike in accommodation interest as local hotels and self-catering apartments approach the event with a reasonable perspective.
Hotel prices, like everything else in life, they are the result of supply and demand. We are no different from airlines or anything else. While in Gibraltar seems to be an extraordinary and exceptional situation, it is perfectly normal for us to understand and accept that if we're trying to book a room in Madrid during the World Cup, hotel prices will probably be 3 times that what they normally be in the time of the year. Or we try to book a room in London during a rugby weekend. We don't have these kinds of events in Gibraltar, so when they do happen, sadly I have to say we don't have them. When they do happen, then everybody seems surprised because obviously hotel rates, they're going up, but that's what the industry is all about. A bedroom in Mallorca in May will cost you a third than what will cost you in August. That's perfectly normal. I think Gibraltar Hotel have been very, very fair because the vast majority of the bedroom stock is being sold on normal rates for the time of the year, and it's only now, the very last few rooms left, etc., where rates they've gone up above what would be the norm. So I think the hoteliers need to be commended about that level of integrity.
So now we've got a year to plan properly and accordingly. The demand and the hype is already there. We've seen it on our emails, and we're thinking what we can do really to see if we could potentially expand our capacity for next year some other way. And because I really think that the demand's there for 3-4 night stays with the 2nd of August in between. The demand's definitely there.
Next year's total eclipse will take place on Monday, the 2nd of August, and can be seen at its best on the east side of the rock at 10:46 a.m., lasting around 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
You're watching GBC News. Still to come, the winners are announced at the Our Gibraltar competition, and we head back to the fair to find out about tonight's live programme. We'll be back in a few minutes.
The moments that matter don't wait for Wi-Fi. From sharing big news instantly to streaming your favourite shows on the go, your connection should always be there. That's why we've made our pay monthly plans bigger, giving you more data at the same price, so nothing gets in the way of staying close to what matters most. Visit gibtele.com or call 200 52200 to sign up.
Our world runs on momentum. From the first light over the rock to the plans we make for the days ahead, each moment carries us forward. For 150 years, Capurro Insurance has moved with that energy. Rooted in Gibraltar, reaching the wider world, built on the past, and looking to the future, wherever momentum takes you next. Capurro Insurance will be by your side, every step of the way.
Trident is EORI ready for Gibraltar's new logistical chapter. As customs-approved transport and clearance agents with proven experience, trust Trident to keep your goods moving. providing door-to-door transport, temperature-controlled services, warehousing, and customs clearances. Trust the experts, delivering since 1989.
If you're looking for the perfect spot to enjoy breakfast, lunch or dinner, make your way to Bianca's Bar and Restaurant down at Marina Bay, where we've been serving great food since 1979. Our tempting menu and daily specials are available for dining in or takeaway. Relax and watch the world go by at Bianca's Marina Bay, the happiest place out of town. If you have employees, then you have HR and payroll. And the computer software you use makes all the difference. EasyPay has been specifically designed to meet the needs of businesses in Gibraltar, whatever the size. For a free demonstration, call 200 741 21 and find out more online at easypay.gi.
Fill up, top up and let's go. The new GibFuel Plus loyalty app is here. Earn loyalty points every time you shop or refuel at Cepsa Gibraltar, Carrefour Express Gibraltar and all the Gibraltar petrol stations. Just sign up, scan your QR code, collect points and redeem rewards. Download the GibFuel Plus app at gibfuelplus.com and start your journey today. Welcome to the Corner Shop, where expectations in painting and decorating go above and beyond, providing the community colour since 1947. From DIY enthusiasts to professional decorators, we offer trusted brands like Dulux, Armstead, Hammerite and more. Explore our expert colour mixing centre, plus DIY and decorating supplies. The Corner Shop, free parking and free delivery.
Welcome back. The Our Gibraltar annual exhibition has opened at the Fine Arts Gallery, where this year's winners have been announced. The Ministry of Culture Award went to Timothy Cumming with At Home in El Quarry. The Our Gibraltar Art Award went to Anna with Tarek's Mountain, and Stephen Cumming picked up the Top Photography Award with Gibraltar Against the Odds. Our reporter Sinead O'Neill was there a short time ago.
We're here at the Fine Arts Gallery, where we've just witnessed the awards ceremony for the Our Gibraltar Awards as part of the Our Gibraltar exhibition for the National Day Programme of Events. Timothy Cumming took home the coveted prize of the Ministry of Culture Award for his piece, At Home in El Quarry. Timothy, congratulations on your prize this year. And we've seen a lot of Quarry themes this year. Can you tell us a bit about the inspiration behind your piece?
It's as simple as my family and I go to the quarry quite often in the summer months, and these three ladies are there every year, very close to where we sit, and it was just a question of asking them very nicely, would you mind if I take a photograph? And they obviously said yes, and I thought, look, the composition speaks for itself. It was there, and yeah, it was something I did a few weeks ago, and that's the result. Very unexpected. But nice to sort of have some of the photographs come through like that.
And the interesting thing is the judging panel, including myself, is one photographer and two artists. So obviously it's representative of the fact that there's more art than there is photography, but the entries were all fabulous. And typically of any judging, you're always looking for something that is just beyond the usual or the expected. And so where the art was concerned, obviously I would question the other two judges about technique and was it good technique. Where photography was concerned, they would ask me about technique, was that good technique? So I think we worked well together. A lot of conversations happened to get it to the final decisions, and I think most people are happy. Most people are happy.
Congratulations to the winners. Now we go back to the fair, where Stefan Borg and Josemari are waiting to tell us about our programme later on this evening. Fun at the fair with plenty still happening over the coming days. Stefan.
Light, no?
And
heavy or light?
No, not heavy, but it's heavy.
And no one's got views.
See that, joining us live back at the fair from a slightly different vantage point this time tonight. Shortly live on GBC, we're going to kickstart the first of 4 nights on the trot, live fun at the fair. I can't really promise much. One thing I can promise is chaos, unpredictability. We don't know quite what's going to happen. We're going to speak to some of the organisers, we're going to speak to some of the incredible charity stall owners, some of the people that provide the food, and we're going to try and have a lot of fun in the process. The Family Pavilion, we're going to be showing some entertainment there. Tonight I'm going to be firmly based from this position, but the man next to me, Josemari, he's the one that's going to be having all the fun, ain't that right?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we're trying to bring, a bit of excitement too. We've just seen actually Family Pavilion is kicking off right now with some acts, but I'll be the man around the rides. It's hard to come up with exciting stuff to do every year. This year we'll be going on the train. Originally I did have planned to be the man with the broom doing all the action stuff, but I've been told I'm not qualified enough for that. So we have been demoted to the seat, and I'll be joined by someone from culture. I won't give away just who yet, and they'll be joining me on the train with the Akova. Hopefully we can win a Akova, and then we'll be doing a lot of fun stuff. We'll be coming to a lot of the charities that do great work here. So yeah, definitely a fun night in store.
Sounds good. I've already got my eyes set on 2027, by the way. Do you think you have enough time between now and then to get qualified for it next year?
Maybe. How you're jumping and you're landing and stuff, you can stick to your landing.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I'm talking about you.
Well, I could do it for sure. I'm going to speak to him actually. If it is a school, I can do like a weekend school and get ready for next year. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
It's going to be fun. Don't miss it. Live on GBC just after the news.
Thank you, Stefan and Jose, for that. Now, in this week's lottery draw, the first prize of £100,000 went to ticket number 17003. The second prize of £10,000 went to ticket number 05679. And £5,000 went to the owner of ticket number 07560. Congratulations to all the winners. And that's all from the GBC News team for now. Don't forget you can always catch up on our website for the very latest and our social media as well. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.
Good evening. Clouding over a little bit this evening to bring the odd spot of rain by tomorrow morning, but generally the fine weather is set to continue for Gibraltar, which is good news for the fair and of course the upcoming bank holiday as well. High pressure is lingering out to the south and west. Low pressure is actually in charge further north though, moving into parts of Portugal and northern Spain and later on through this week into the UK, bringing some heavy and intense thunderstorms through Wednesday and Thursday. But for Gibraltar, we've got that high pressure dominating, perhaps some thicker cloud overnight, the odd spot of rain just through the early hours, but generally it's going to be dry and clear. We've got westerly winds still through the Gibraltar Strait, which means more eastern sides do see the best of the sunshine. To the west, though, a little bit more in the way of cloud, slightly stronger winds as well. So it will be a little bit fresher. Temperatures in the mid-20s here, approaching though the mid-30s as we look across parts of southeastern Spain to Marbella. For Gibraltar though, highs of 27.